We're excited about this program and excited about everyone who's joining. I do want to mention as well, some of you filled out our initial interest form, and you may not be aware that it actually asks you to fill out a longer form application. So you may be getting additional emails. The reason why you're getting those additional emails is because you may have not filled out the second form. So we do want you to fill out the official application, and once you do that, you'll get notification to within a couple of days, and we'll have Lucy talk about the process, but you'll get an interview opportunity as well. So if you are getting those notifications, please do follow that link. I know you already filled out kind of an interest form, but we want to make sure you also fill out the official application as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I want to welcome you all to this presentation here. We wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity for you all to have some space to ask some questions. Some of you met Vince. I'll get a chance to introduce him on the line here today. Some of you had an opportunity to do an interview with him, to ask some questions. We want to make sure we level set here and give you some information and talk about kind of high level, the purpose of the program. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our slides here. As you all, many of you know, obviously the program is called GameChangers Accelerator, unleashing the power of AI to propel your career, whether that's your entrepreneurial career, whether you're an entrepreneur, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. It is a partnership between the organizations that you see here, between our P4 Hub and DiverseForce's and City of Philadelphia, 110, Most Diverse Tech Hub, and Deviancy, who you'll hear from today as well. And I want to talk about basically the agenda that we have here today. I'll share a little bit about our company, DiverseForce, a little bit of our history.
Do me a favor, turn the radio down just a little bit.
If anyone, this is Amy. Yep. Any background, you couldn't mute yourself. But we'll do an introduction. We're also going to talk about AI and why we're focusing on AI right now. Sure. Many of you know why we're focused on AI, but also want to talk about the X Factor formula, if you will. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but just talk about how there's three types of people. There's those who play the game, there's those who watch the game, and those who don't even know the game is being played. But then there's a fourth category, and there's those who change the game. And we want to talk about you all certainly being to be game changers in the marketplace. It's going to be a very competitive market out there as AI continues to permeate the market. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Just a level set on mindset as well. You'll get a chance to meet some of our team members who are part of this initiative, who will be working with us to make sure that you're getting a great experience throughout the program. We're going to have our instructor, Vince, actually go through a program overview. We'll talk about the scholarship and why this is a free program, and how and our partner that's made this available to you, in sponsoring this program. We'll talk about the schedule and the format. We'll talk about the application process. Lucy, again, will talk about the application process. And then we're going to open up for some Q&A as well. So you'll have an opportunity to ask some questions. So certainly as we go through this, if you could hold your questions till the end, we'll certainly make sure we get to those questions. And again, so unleashing, I'm gonna go back. I did mention that we'll talk about our company. I don't want to take for granted that you all know who I am. My name is Suleiman Rahman. I'm the CEO of DiverseForce. DiverseForce is launching this new accelerator program around AI, where it meets gaming. And some of you have been with us for some time. Many of you have been with us since the beginning. I was in college years back and started a website called urbanphilly.com. It started as an email list back when email was a disruptive technology. So I'm dating myself in saying that, similar to AI today, I had the fortune of seeing the internet become what it's become today, just normalized. And we started urbanphilly.com. This is pre-Facebook, MySpace back then. We grew an email list of over 30,000 subscribers. We had a web platform where folks could go on there and find events. Black and brown professionals to find culturally relevant events throughout the city. I know some of you, I see some of you that have been part of that network early on. Then in 2007, we actually started the Urban Philly Professional Network, and we went from more of a media platform, if you will, to a professional network where we started doing after-work events and engaging, empowering, connecting that next generation of business and civic leaders in the city. And that audience, that program, we would do events once a month and continue to grow that over the years. That network, UPPN, is now the BBEX network, and which stands for Black and Brown Excellence Network. And some of you have been part of that, professional network. In 2017, we started DiverseForce to be much more intentional about how we kind of grow and elevate leaders into leadership roles within our city. And we kicked it off with an education program called DiverseForce on Boards. That was our signature program, launched in, see a lot of our alumni who are on the video here today. And DiverseForce on Boards is really focused on, we partnered with University of Pennsylvania. We created a 6-month curriculum, a 6-module program where once a month folks would go through, those who qualified for the program and enrolled with us, went through a 6-month program to learn how to be a good board member for nonprofit organizations throughout the region. It also intersected with leadership development and diversity, equity, and inclusion. For anyone who knows the nonprofit sector, it can range from anywhere from small organizations with a budget of a few $100,000 to multi-billion-dollar institutions. Here in Philadelphia, where I sit, out of the top 10 employers in all of Philadelphia, 8 of them are nonprofit organizations. So the reality is nonprofit is really non-distribution of profit. We're talking about some major institutions that are solving some of our biggest challenges in our city, but many times the boards do not look like those who they serve. And we started that program in 2017. We've now graduated 10 cohorts of DiverseForce on Boards, 282 alumni of that program. We've filled over 250 board seats. So our alumni have filled over 250 board seats all throughout the region, and now growing nationally as well. And just really excited about that program and the training and just the raving fans and alumni who continue to elevate that program and the partnerships we have, like with Comcast and Accenture and so many other employer partners as well. We also went a step further to diversify leadership, starting in the social impact sector and also in some corporate roles as well, where we have a team of 7 who focus solely on executive search, where we actually help organizations to fill senior roles. And since starting our executive search firm just a couple of years ago, Monica York, who's on the line, is our Director of Recruitment Services, over 30 years of experience. We've now filled over 40 plus executive roles throughout the region and even beyond. And 80% of them are Black and brown talent, which we're proud of because we make sure we deliver a diverse slate of leadership, a diverse slate of candidates for each search. So we've been in a recruitment space as well. Some of you have also been at our P4 hub out in Germantown. When we think about our kind of overall model, I know you hear about our different acronyms and different initiatives, but I promise you there is a method to our madness. We started with community. We started building on education and opportunity. We call it our CEO model, where we have an opportunity to, continue to bring people together. We opened up our P4 hub in Germantown. It's a total of 11,000 square feet that we have there in Germantown. Those of you who have been there have seen 4,000 of those square feet where we have our events, and we continue to do our Art, Wine, and BBEX events and bring professionals together. So if you haven't been to those events or been on our BBEX network, you certainly want to participate there. But also, that P4 stands for Public, Private, and Philanthropic Partnership Hub, where really bringing together public, private, and philanthropic organizations to really continue to advance racial equity and excellence in our city. And that's why we're excited about the partnerships that we're able to bring to the P4 Hub, programs like this, and that also intersect with our Diverse Force and BBEX network as well. So this initiative that we're kicking here is to make sure that we can diversify the tech space, but also upskill our existing professionals across any industry to make sure that you're not being left behind, because AI is truly revolutionizing every industry that we touch, regardless of our background. So again, I want to share why we chose AI to help propel your career. On November 30th, if you don't know, November 30th of 2022, which is last year, there was an app that came out. It was called ChatGPT. Okay, and ChatGPT had the fastest adoption of any app in history. Had over 100 million downloads in just 2 months. So we're talking about the adoption rate of ChatGPT is tremendous. And now there's other large language models that are similar to ChatGPT, but I tell you, and it is truly revolutionizing the way things happen. It's the first time in history we have the opportunity to put in the hands of individuals, scaling human intelligence, if you will, and the opportunity to truly 10x or 100x your productivity over the next few years is a real thing. And there was a time when, if you're an entrepreneur, there was a time when $1 billion company had over 10,000 employees. I was just sharing this at the African American Chamber of Commerce event at the Wells Fargo Center, where $1 billion companies had over 10,000 employees on average. Few years ago, it was Instagram that was worth $1 billion with just 14 employees. And I believe over the next few years, we're going to see $1 billion companies with 1 to 3 employees. So what's happening is really democratizing the opportunity for us to scale businesses, to be more productive within our career, but also make career opportunities more accessible to folks who may not have a hard skill background in technology, but with artificial intelligence, using natural language to get things done and understanding how to use these tools is going to be very powerful. And I love the kind of quote that says, humans won't be replaced by AI. Humans are going to be replaced by humans who use AI to enhance their own intelligence and to get things done, at least in the near term. So we're excited to really help you all to participate, to learn these skills, and to apply it in your career. Now, AI is not just a buzzword today. It's for the intrapreneur and the entrepreneur, both. And maybe you've never heard the term intrapreneur, but intrapreneur is basically someone who works in a company, which is fine, but you're taking control. You're the CEO of your career, right? You're the CEO of your brand. You're the CEO of your career development, and you're taking the time. And I applaud you for being a part of this initiative here to continue to grow yourself, to have lifelong learning, if you will. And then some of you are entrepreneurs. You started your own business, or you're building your business, and this is going to be tremendous for you as well. So there's multiple pathways in which you can actually use the skills we're going to get in this program to drive innovation, to boost efficiency, and to just gain that competitive advantage. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. It's a new computer for me here. Now, I want to talk again. We talked about it earlier that there's those who play the game, there's those who watch the game, and those who don't even know the game is being played. Now, and hopefully, you're not the person that doesn't know the game is being played. In fact, the fact that you're here, you at least know the game is being played. Some of you are playing the game, meaning you're actually using ChatGPT. You're actually exercising and playing around with these different tools. Some of you may have seen me on LinkedIn. I use a couple of different apps to create a digital twin of myself. I use ChatGPT to create a speech talking about our Diverse Force on Boards program. I use a platform called 11 Labs to duplicate my voice. You probably heard a very computerized version of my voice. I've actually got it upgraded to a professional version. It took about a month for them to come through with it, but it's amazing how more advanced it is. use another platform called DID to actually now animate the avatar. And I had the avatar done by also a platform called Headshot Pro as well. So using a few apps that are sitting on top of ChatGPT, that's sitting on top of platforms like Stable Diffusion, sitting on top of platforms like Mid-Journey and others are just so powerful to do things that we've never imagined we could do. But I just want to also let you know that in order to really maximize and to stand out, it's not going to be just the tools. You know, so many people think it's just learning the tools or learning the technical know-how on things, but I promise you that's only a small percentage of truly being a standout, you know, to stand out in the marketplace. Around 2011, some of you know I started a business that had me traveling and speaking across the country and around the world, literally built a team of over 30,000 distributors in a company. And I was speaking and training, and this was a kind of a franchise-like business where individuals were able to build a business, and they all had the same product. They all had the same system behind them. They all, you know, had the same kind of compensation structure, but there were people who stood out. There were people who became 1%ers within that company. I was one of those individuals, became a 1%er in that company. You know, was making over $500,000 a year within that company. It had individuals and mentors and friends who were just high performers. And it always kind of kept me up at night to saying, why don't people, you know, they have the same product, they have the same opportunity, but not everyone makes it happen. Like not everyone actually stands out and becomes that, you know, success story, if you will. I've helped a lot of people be successful. And one day I woke up in this equation, you know, I don't know how many people wake up with equations in their mind, but I woke up with this equation that you see here. And I'm trying to move this here. And I woke up and I wrote in my journal and said, this is it. You know, this is what I've seen over the years that really simplifies how to really stand out in the marketplace, how to win, how to create a habit of winning. And it's more than, again, just the skills. So I want you to just not just think this is a skill-based, just learning the skills, but I also want you to apply this kind of mentality to the work that we do. And we're going to kick it off our first session. I'm going to talk about how you can actually use artificial intelligence to even enhance this formula, if you will, to gain more clarity. You know, when you think about clarity, knowing what you want, but also why you want it. That's so important, because I promise you, this will just be another program that you might start and stop, like maybe other things you've started before. But I want you to really think about, what is it that you're looking to achieve in this program? What are you looking to gain out of this program? Where do you want to go with it? And we'll help you with that clarity, kind of visualizing where you want to go. Also, you got to believe in yourself. You know, you could run into, as you're going through this program, you may run into things where you feel like, wow, you know, is this really for me? And lose that self-belief that you can, you know, truly learn the things that you need to learn here, or to reach the goals, or to reach that, you know, that vision that you have in the kind of the canvas of your imagination, the movie theater of your imagination. You know, can you actually achieve those things? But you got to keep that belief strong, and we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about, you know, skills. There are skills that you have to learn. I've had the fortune of, you know, moving, and many people say, you know, Suleiman, you've shifted kind of industries over and over again. And how do you continue to win in industries you've been? I've been in real estate. I've been in media and advertising. I've been in, you know, building social networks and building a network marketing organization all around the world. I've moved into HR. You know, we have a multi-million-dollar business now with our DiverseForce's company. And it was the same formula. You know, I understood that there were a certain set of skills that I needed to learn. I knew it was the language that I needed to learn in the spaces that we moved into. So we're going to talk about those skills, not only the skills that you're learning within this program, which I believe are critical skills of the future with AI, but we'll talk about those skills, those soft skills that you'll need to really go out there and win as well. Influence, communicating the virtue of a good product or service, understanding leadership, understanding, you know, how to move people to action is going to be a critical skill, and it's timeless skill. And we're going to talk about that. And the beautiful thing about gamification, encouraging people to do things to increase engagement, has a mindset behind it. They figured it out. They figured out how to engage people, how to move into action. When you think about digital marketing as well, all those kind of ingredients around how to influence for good, if you will, are built into that. And there's a critical skill that you're going to learn in this program that we'll talk about and emphasize as well. And then work ethic, just showing up. So often we derail our success because of our feelings, right? Those feelings that aren't serving us. We think about working out and we just don't feel like doing it. Or we do things that we feel like doing that we know aren't serving us as well. So, really having that discipline, that work ethic necessary to get through this program. Again, so many starts and stops. I hope that you all, you're raising your hand to be a part of this program, but just focus, add it to your calendar and show up. Half the battle is showing up and putting the work in that we're going to ask you to do to truly learn these skills that I believe will be game changing for you and your career. But you got to focus. We have to just focus on making sure we discipline ourselves to do it even when it's hard, right? And last is focus. In a world where social media and so many distractions, even with AI, there's so many distractions that can take us off path. So learning how to focus, many times people say it's about time management. No, time is very well managed. It's really focus management. Can you manage your focus? Focus is the new skill. And if you can really start to build that and to focus on your objectives, to focus on your goals. And again, we're going to talk about some tools, how AI can enhance all these 6 elements of this kind of X factor, if you will. So we're going to talk about mindset and some of these things along with some of the skills you're going to learn through this program. I do want to introduce you really quickly to our team. As I mentioned, my name is Suleiman Rahman. We also have Shane Nelson, who I don't think is on the call here today. He's getting his doctorate degree in education. Also, he's also helping to lead our 110 initiative, working with over 70 plus Fortune 500 companies that are working to help elevate talent, Black and brown talent throughout the country. Those without a 4-year degree, some of you may not have a 4-year degree, and that is absolutely fine. There's so many different pathways to success, even if you don't have a 4-year degree. So that's no longer the bar to success, if you will. Jessica Lilly, who some of you may have seen at many of our events and been a part of our team since day one. She is behind the scenes making sure things operate. Some of you may have talked to her as well with our DiverseForce's on Boards program. She's our director of operations, as well as Lucy Jimenez, who puts together these amazing slides like you see here today, and just the BBEX events and behind the scenes making things happen. So you may touch one or more of these folks throughout this journey as well. And then I also want to recognize a gentleman, a young man who met about a year ago. And I knew I liked him once I realized we both had the same birthday, February 25th. And super smart. And I tell you, learned a lot. It's kind of like reverse mentorship as well. He's picked my brain for some things, but I've learned so much around the technology space. And he's been training and developing leaders, training and developing people in the tech space for many years, from young kids. Also, they built a software company around gaming. So the game studio, Blacks in Technology, working and doing some classes for them. He's also Blacks in Gaming. And it's probably been when I see how he's using AI and going to be training on this topic on many of the classes, I'll be also participating on some of the trainings. We'll have some others who will participate in the training, but Vince will be our main instructor through this program, but he's truly 10xing himself, but also works with interns that they're working with as well to help them to understand many of these tools. So doing some great things as a young man, and excited to, now we've been talking about this programming for a little over a year now, and excited to launch it. So Vince, I'm going to bring you on here, and I'm trying to drive these slides in a way that I don't keep on going back, but I want to bring you on, and I may have not done your introduction that much justice, but go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can talk about the program as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Suleiman. And then as a whole, so hi, everyone. I'm Vince Quarles. I'm the CEO of DVNC. We're a Philly-based game studio focused on improving diverse representation in media and technology industries. As we've existed over the last 5 years, what we found is that as a whole in media and tech industries, the teams themselves aren't that diverse. So as we've been existing and working with people, we've been transitioning into more of an educational company so that we can help make those teams more diverse, then help make the products they develop more diverse and aligned to different people throughout the market. Examples of our projects are the Monochrome RPG releasing later this year, early next year under Microsoft's Idea Xbox program. And then that game was developed with the help of our Village program, where during the pandemic, we created over 200 digital creators, got them involved, was able to partner with Microsoft, have a successful Kickstarter, and also get our company's first 2 rounds of investment. And we've been happy to see a few of our members go on to work at companies like Sony Games, Epic Games, Comcast, and then also Riot Games. Awesome. And so here we go, the core learning topics for the program. So section 1, we're gonna be diving into project management. This is gonna be, well, all of it's going to be AI enhanced, but this one, especially as you talk with ChatGPT in order to work out how to propose projects, how to structure projects, and then how to shift them over to modern project management systems, such as Monday.com. Then we're going to use the task layers framework, something that my company personally uses in order to engage our interns and our freelancers and managers in order to get everyone structured into gamified project management. At a core level, taking tasks and correlating them to points so that you know how to prioritize your tasks. And then you can create a leaderboard for yourself and your team so that you know if yourself and your team are improving on a week-to-week basis. From there, we'll go into section 2, digital marketing. We'll dive into visual AI using the tool Midjourney, and then also professional networking social media platforms. Can do, such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium. And then from there, we're going to dive into building your own website. And that's going to be on Wix, where you'll have your portfolio, your personal brand, and you'll make sure to tie it into a MailChimp email list so that you can grow the audience of your personal brand. From there, we'll dive into section 3, which will be design. So UI and UX design. By user interface, by user experience, we mean paper prototyping. So you'll be sketching out the apps, and then you'll be doing UI work, user interface work, bring it onto the digital landscape. Those tools will include Figma, very common UI tool for developing out, let's say, application pre-screens, and then Untitled UI, one of the most popular user interface kits on the internet right now, and then also diving into Canva for some more adamant graphic design. Then the last section is going to be no-code programming. We're going to dive into ChatGPT again. However, this time, instead of outputting text, it's going to be focused on outputting code to help you build and structure your app and your app idea. So then you can tie it into a no-code front-end editor and a no-code back-end editor, such as Xano. And again, all of these topics are going to be AI enhanced all the way from front to back. And then as far as skill development, so you're going to learn how to automate project management, really streamline tasks for you and your team so that things can happen on the back end without you, relatively speaking, having to lift a finger. Then diving into AI enhanced digital marketing, combining the powers of ChatGPT plus Midjourney, plus the tools I mentioned in order to 10 times your overarching brand and output, content output. And then we'll dive into sketching and designing user interfaces, again, drawing them on paper, taking rough sketches, using some AI in order to turn it into digital designs, and then using human refinement in order to maximize those designs. Diving into user analytics for user experiences, so you'll understand how users interact with your overarching design and how to improve it so you can better align your idea to the market. And then no-code and low-code development, so doing drag and drop and typing text in order to make applications, but then taking the data that you gathered from that front end application, shifting it to a back end database, and then understanding how to connect to that database using code to create completely custom apps using more traditional development methodology. And then also gamification in games and applications, how to increase engagement through the use of different types of game-like features such as points, story, narrative, and social in order to maximize how people engage and want to engage with your platform. And then for the hands-on projects, we're going to be diving deep into task layers and how to implement it for your tasks, for your projects, and also for your products and operations. And then growing your personal brand on social media through the web builders and newsletter, really understanding how to grow an audience through the practical usage of those tools mentioned prior. And then for app design, again, taking you through the whole process front to back. How do you go from an idea to starting to test it in the market, to starting to design it first, so that then you can bring that design over to the development phase. And then at creation, the development phase. And then we have the outcomes for the program. So you're going to learn how to implement AI in daily routine processes for yourself, for your team, for the business that you're in order to 10 times the output. You're going to learn to develop modern technology skills using mainstream tools that organizations use, again, on a daily, weekly basis in order to maximize their outcomes. And then you're going to understand what gamification is, the different elements of gamification, and where you can embed those personally so that you're enjoying your day, and then also outside so that your team can have happiness and engagement in the work that they do. And then also building a public skills showcase portfolio through those hands-on projects, making sure you leave the overarching program with a website that has a portfolio of case studies based on the projects that we accomplish over the 12 weeks of the program. And then also, once you graduate, earning a certificate and being able to access further opportunities to enhance your overarching career.
Yep. So Vince, if you could share just the hardware requirements here, and then we'll pick it back up.
Sounds good. And then lastly, so what we ask for you to bring to the table is essentially for virtual participants, they'll have a computer, a laptop, and high-speed internet capable of running powerful browser-based tools, Zoom or Twitch. A lot of the tools we're going to be using are going to be incredibly browser-based. And then also for hybrid participants, we're going to ask that you make it to the P4 Hub. That's over in Germantown. There's a beer garden and an awesome barbecue restaurant in the back. And then across the board, everyone, please make sure you get accepted into the program. You complete your homework and assignments in a timely manner. And then again, you have access to internet on a consistent basis, along with bringing your computer to the location.
Awesome. And just want to share as well, we are limiting in-person participation. Now, some of you have selected that. So we're going through a process to identify those that'll be able to be in person with us. Hopefully as many as possible that have chosen to be in person. The hybrid option has sold out at this point. So the other option is fully remote, which we do have 4K cameras built into the P4 Hub. So you'll have an opportunity to participate fully remote. And I know that was actually a feature for some of you because of your travel and things of that sort. So if you did pick in person, please just make sure you can commit to in person. You don't want to fill a seat that others could have filled. And if you need to readjust that, you can let our folks know in the process as well. Okay. So this is a fully covered co-program. So there is no cost for the tuition for this 12-week program that we're putting in place. And I want to say thank you to to City of Philadelphia, the Commerce Department, and their most diverse tech hub. So their focus is to make sure that we make Philadelphia not just a tech hub, but the most diverse tech hub, making sure that we have an inclusive economy where underrepresented talent are able to learn these skills. And we're excited at the P4 Hub and some other partners as well, like the Enterprise Center as one of the partners. There's 4 different partners I believe there's 4 different partners that got funding for programs like this. So look out for the Enterprise Center. They have some things that are happening there as well. Venture for America is another organization. Technically, Philly is the convening partner and media partner. So you hear about them in One Philadelphia as well. You know, Sylvester Mobley and some of the work that they're doing as well. So I want to give a shout out to some of the other partners who are part of the most diverse tech hub in doing this important work as well. And I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Marketing, Lucy Jimenez, to share a little about the schedule and some other details as well.
Thanks, Solomon. Hey, everyone. It's great to be with you this evening. We're so excited to launch the GameChangers Accelerator. So just to clarify the schedule, so the program will run September 26th to December 16th. And sessions will take place every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And those will be our lecture sessions. And then every Saturday will be our lab. So that's more of the hands-on project-based work. And that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So depending on how you choose to participate, whether you're remotely participating or in person or hybrid, some of you will be joining us each session at the P4 Hub, others just joining us for Saturday labs. And we are excited to announce that we're going to transition Saturday, October 14th, the lab session. We're going to create kind of a fun lab and networking opportunity in the evening. A lot of you have expressed interest in the community networking component of this program. And so we really wanted to bring that to life for you. So instead of doing it in the morning on Saturday, October 14th, we're going to have our lab from 6 to 8 p.m. at the P4 Hub. It will also be streamed virtually for anyone who can't participate in person. But then we'll do an hour networking happy hour afterwards, which will be really fun for you guys to kind of grow that social capital and network together. As we mentioned, the format options for attending, and this is included on the application, so you can self-select your choice: in person at the P4 Hub in Germantown, Philadelphia, and those seats are limited. Hybrid, like Suleiman said, is at capacity, but some of you will be joining us on Saturdays for the lab sessions at the P4 Hub. And then finally, remote, we wanted to make sure that this program is accessible from anywhere. So quite a few of you are going to be attending from other places while you're traveling for work. And we're really excited to be able to make this possible. We do ask that you are making a commitment to join at least 20 of the 24 sessions, and that will be required to receive a certificate of completion from the program. Of course, things come up, but we want to at least make sure that anyone who is admitted into the program at this time can commit to join at least 20 of those sessions.
And just want to mention that's live. The other 4 sessions, you'll certainly want to do those sessions as well. Well, you may not have to do the lab, but making sure at least the instructional sessions are covered as well. Just wanted to mention that as well, Lucy.
The application process. So as we mentioned at the beginning of the call, there's been a bit of a misunderstanding, and we apologize for that, but we've received a few emails from people that are under the impression that by filling out the interest form on the website, on the GameChangers website, that they've completed the application process. But that's just the first step. So once you've shown interest in the program, we send you the official application by email. So you would receive that initial email from us. And if you didn't submit the application, you would have received a couple of follow-up reminder emails from us. So the next step for you, if you haven't officially applied, is to go ahead and submit the application form. And we are going to extend the application deadline to be September 12th so that you have time to get that in and have that next step, which would be the interview call, which is either with Vince or one of the other members of our team. So I'm actually going to drop the link to the application directly in the chat, and that way you don't have to search your email. So if you haven't filled out a more lengthy application form, you can go ahead and do that at that link there.
And Lucy, if they didn't fill out the first form yet and they're on here, will that kind of skip the process?
No, it's all set up so they can go ahead and just submit the application directly.
Beautiful. Wonderful. So we're going to take some time now and just open up. If there's any lingering questions that you all, anyone has, I'd love to address that now.
Hi, I'm Kiki. I have a question. So I see that the course is 100% free, but is there any explicit expenses that we can expect? Like, will we have to pay for any software or any subscriptions or anything for the course?
That's a great question, Kiki. And yes, there are. So currently, Vince had kind of shared the tech stack that's in place. And we are going to, we are literally having that discussion right now. We want to make sure that this is fully accessible to anyone. So if anyone is in you know, maybe in between jobs or financial hardship, although we was not in the grant that we received, DiverseForce's, we are looking at kind of a scholarship fund that we're going to add to the budget to help offset some of those costs as well. So we want to make sure that everyone has accessibility to it. The full tech stack right now, there's some free tools that are out there, but some of the tools will require some upgrades. We will have those details. We will give an exception. We will give acceptance emails out to everyone. But closer to getting started, we're going to give a ballpark on exactly what the monthly kind of membership fees will be and how we can support that, particularly for those who may have, you know, temporary financial hardship to take advantage of that as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, you know, it can certainly get expensive, you know, learning these tools. I have too many subscriptions right now, you know, trying out different things, duplicate platforms and things of that sort. So we're going to make sure it's as efficient as possible, but also make sure and maximize the free tools as much as possible. But there will be some upgrades as well. Any other questions?
Yeah, I see Dave has a question. Go ahead, Dave.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is a great program, and it's a good thing you guys are running with it because it is something with technology. We have to really stay on top of things like that. But I want to ask you a question, and this is just to piggyback on what you just answered. Do you have like a ballpark figure as we're sitting on the class to see exactly how we can set up our budgets for the subscriptions and everything? Because, you know, it can be costly for some subscriptions, or do we get a discount, or how's that work?
Yeah, literally, we were over the last couple of days. I don't want to throw any terms out there right now. We're looking at some conversations with some of the platforms we're going to use, where in some cases we're going to sign up for an enterprise. We're going to sign up for our enterprise account, but based on my initial numbers we got, it's looking at around $250 to $350 over 3 months for those services. But we're looking at how we make it more efficient as well. So that's the ballpark, but I don't want, you know, don't quote me on that. We're looking at ways to work around that, and also how DiverseForce can get some enterprise and also discounted services as well with some of the partners.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All right. Excellent.
And Suleiman, I see a couple of questions in the chat, which maybe Vince can answer for us. So.
And I'll go to Zaria and then Aaliyah, and then we'll do those as well. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, and Vince, if you could, you know, there's text strategies to answer some of those, that'd be great. Zaria.
Hello, my name is Zaria. I actually interviewed with Vince yesterday. I did have a question. My question would be, since this would be your first cohort that you're hosting as a program, is there anything you have in place for the graduates once they graduate this program to help them actually land a career in one of these fields? Or do you have any like career services that are going to be offered throughout the program as well?
Yeah, great questions, Zaria. We are, this is our initial pilot program, and we do have some partners that are employer partners. I know Lucy just had a conversation today with Technically Philly and some opportunities there. We also are partnered with 110 Coalition as well, which there's opportunities that come quite often, apprenticeship opportunities and things of that sort. We're also talking to PACT, Philadelphia Alliance for Capital and Technology, which also is starting an apprenticeship program. One I'll say is apprenticeships are probably more of a new phenomenon in the tech space. You probably heard of apprenticeships, mainly in the building trades and things of that sort. There is a big push across the country where apprenticeships can be very powerful, where there's opportunity to earn and learn, kind of that last mile, if you will. So having kind of basic technology skills like what you're gonna learn in this program can get you into some really cool apprenticeship opportunities. Some of you obviously are probably in your career today or entrepreneurs. So that doesn't apply there, but we will be having some employer partners. We haven't fully solidified that on the back end yet, but we are in discussions to make sure there's pathways to and networking at least with hiring managers and recruiters for some of these fields as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Aaliyah?
Hi, good night, everyone. I just have a concern because of my religious background. I don't think I'll be able to attend the Saturday classes, but I want to know, let's say you're unable to attend, will the class be recorded and will it be available to the participants?
Yes, great question. Appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, they will be recorded, and those are more the working sessions as well. But we'll take that under consideration. If anyone else has those religious, restrictions as well, please let us know, and we'll make those accommodations for you. Thank you for bringing that up, Leah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Awesome. Any questions, Lucy, in the chat that went unanswered that we should look at?
Yes, I have a question. What does your ideal candidate look like?
Yeah, great question. I'm gonna let Vince answer that question. We don't want to make this a restrictive program, but we do want to make sure there's basic digital literacy kind of going into this, and also that you have the resources to be able to thrive in the program. There's no degree requirements, things of that sort, but certainly basic digital literacy skills. But Vince, I'll let you. I know you've been having this conversation as well. You wouldn't mind sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as a whole, we recommend this program for, let's say, people probably around 22 plus, and then across the board, like Suleiman just mentioned, fundamental digital literacy, especially like if you're going to be remote, knowing how to navigate through Zoom, and also having familiarity navigating through online course platforms. And if you're in person, we'll be able to help out a lot with like the hands-on aspect of the different technology. I would say if you are remote, getting used to like forum-based messaging prior would be super helpful, just so that if you do need help or assistance, the instructors can communicate with you on the platform that we'll be using.
Appreciate that, Vince.
Hi, sorry, I have one more question.
Sure.
So for those who will be at the in-person, I'm actually newly moved to the city, and the city is very chaotic for me. So I'm just wondering, what's the parking situation like there? At the hub.
Yeah, great question. We have about 25 parking spaces out front. So typically for those classes, you'll have parking right out front of our space, of our place, right on the Apsley Street there. It's pretty easy street parking as well. And then for those who are doing public transportation, we're literally 2 blocks from the Wayne Junction train station. So that's a 11-minute ride from Center City to get to Wayne Junction as well. Let's put $30 million into that train station there. So a lot of folks, a lot of traffic that comes through there as well. But parking is no issue.
Awesome.
We'll take one or two. I do see some hands up here. Miles and Melissa. And if anyone has a drop, feel free.
Well, good evening. My question was, I finished my application. However, I didn't receive an email for an interview. Do I have to wait a couple days for that, or is that supposed to come at the end of my application?
Yep, great question. Elise, can you hop in and share what the typical turnaround is on that?
Yeah, so typically you would hear from us within 1 to 2 days of submitting your application with a link to schedule your interview call. I'm going to do a quick search to see if I can pull it up, Miles, and I'll reach out to you directly.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely, Melissa.
Hi, thanks so much for the webinar. I wanted to ask a question regarding the specifications we might need for our computer access. Like, given that we're going to be using so many tools, is there a particular speed, memory that you would advise? Is an iPad useful or not? Just a little bit more clarification around specs. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. I'll let Vince jump in on that.
Yeah, so I would say for this class, an iPad wouldn't be enough. You will want to have a laptop that has capability to use very powerful browser-based applications. One way to test that is to like go onto Twitch, maybe open a few Twitch tabs up. That's like a video streaming platform. Another way to test it is to go onto like a web-based gaming website and then open a few tabs just to stress test your computer as a whole. But we highly recommend a computer because of the types of tools that we're going to be using. And eventually the iPad, once we get further into like the marketing and UX UI sections, it just won't be enough.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for that question. And I see Chrome Notebook. Would that work, Vince?
To be honest, I've never really used a Chrome notebook before. So I'll say, as we go through the project management section, yes. As we go through the marketing section, yes, I do believe. You might run into some issue with the UX UI design section, but that depends on how powerful the Chromebook is. I know they're really optimized, so it's a little bit different for a Chromebook. And then I would say, to be honest, the programming section, that's where I personally would start getting really worried about the Chromebook, because that's where we start reaching kind of peak browser memory. So one thing you can do is Google no code editor and then test it out by signing up for like a free trial and then just moving around in the no code editor to see if your computer can handle it prior to the program.
And if anyone has any concerns or questions about that, feel free to reach out to us as well. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, great seeing you all. Hopefully you're not intimidated by the course here, and looking forward to seeing many of you. We're going to ask, once we do the acceptances, that you just give us a response, let us know that you are still interested in the program, and then we're going to have an onboarding kind of package with what some expectations are, and some other avenues. Also, again, as we talked about, opportunities to offset some of the costs if if you're unemployed or currently having temporary need some assistance there. And it'll be trust-based. Hope that if you don't need those resources, that you save those resources for others that can contribute, that can benefit from that as well. But we're not going to ask a ton of questions, but do want to just make sure that those who raise their hand, we can support. So with that, thank you all for joining us, and hopefully this was informative, and look forward to seeing you over the next couple of weeks and participate in the GameChangers Accelerator. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Jess, who's working behind the scenes there, and Shane off getting his PhD somewhere. Hopefully you'll see us around. Talk to you soon.
And Suman, thank you to you
Bye-bye.
for all the work
Thank
you've done
you.
with the program.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
a
you.
labor of love. Take care.
Bye-bye.